Welcome to Align into your Life Purpose. I'm Nicholas David Nan, the Centre for Conscious Thinking. So I wanted to find out what you guys would like from this. I think that works better actually, and we'll just formulate it from there. So maybe just introduce yourself, say where you are, and just briefly what drew you to this and what you'd like from it, and that'll sort of formulate what I'm actually going to say. This is what happened last time. So, Kristen.
Hi, I'm Kristen. Can you hear me? I haven't tested my mic yet. Okay.
Nice and clear.
Great. I'm in Colorado, and I read your book a couple of years ago. I even read, I don't know, I can't remember. It's not a chart, but I did it a couple of years ago. I don't remember that much about it. So it really spoke to me. It resonated with me. So I'd like to come back and hear some more.
Okay. All right. Barbara.
Hello, Nicholas. My name is Barbara Amalia Schaefer-Berdner, and I attend everything Nicholas has. I'm also a soul contract practitioner, and I'm here today, one, to support Nicholas, and also because every time I hear him speak, you know, even though I'm really good at soul contract, I get a new nuance, right? So I've read the book, I've been to all his trainings, I've been to his Aligning with Your Life's Purpose workshop, which I recommend. And so always get something new when I get to be with Nicholas, so thank you.
Okay, thank you, Barbara. Marilyn?
Hi, Nicholas. I tried to connect with your other webinar and I lost the link, I think. I think a lot of people don't get the email, but anyway, so I'm on this one, so that's nice. I've done a couple of sessions with you when you were in New Zealand, so I've had this sort of long process with you in some sense, but I just had recently returned to your soul contract. I had one drawn up, but I introduced it to a friend of mine, and we had been looking over it again, so I was just interested to learn more and to become more involved in it, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Birgit, where are you?
Hi. Well, I'm the friend Marilyn just mentioned. So we were talking on Skype, and suddenly she asked me for my birth certificate name, and I asked her why she was asking, and then she told me about the book, and I knew immediately that's for me. That's important. And so, yeah, I think that was 3 or 4 days ago. So since then, spent a few nights going on reading and had my trouble with calculating, as I'm German, and it's really difficult to convert to English and then to Hebrew. It's much easier directly from German to Hebrew.
Yeah. Well, we have a way of doing it from English or German to English to Hebrew.
Yeah, but I mean, so German is much closer to Hebrew than English.
Yeah, probably is.
Phonetic wise, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so that's definitely something that grabbed me. So.
Yeah. Okay. Dorota? You have to unmute yourself.
Yes, hello. I am calling from Montreal, Canada, and I am a soul contract practitioner. Just finished soul contract 2, and I'm trying to attend everything that Nicholas is giving. So some sort of similar situation to Barbara, and just get another download and get another wave of feeling good.
Okay. Cool. All right. So Sunspot Run, are you there? Because I can see a camera, but I can't see anybody. No one there.
I can't hear. I can't hear.
I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you adjust your camera? Because we just see the white wall or a ceiling at the moment.
Well, I've read the book. My camera might not be working. I've read your book, Nicholas. It's excellent, and I was very interested to see what information you brought to the seminar today.
Okay. So what's your name? Normal name?
Oh, my normal name is Michael.
Okay, Michael. And where are you, Michael?
I'm in Seattle, Washington.
Okay. All right. Okay. So is your camera pointed at the wall? Because it looks like we're actually seeing something on the camera, just like it's the ceiling or something.
It's actually pointed right at me, but I'm trying to, all I get is flashing, so I think the camera is not working correctly.
Okay. All right. That's fine. Thank you, Michael. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about this. I'm just going to share the screen. Hopefully this will work. Just a sec. So I'm going to get rid of this. Just going to maneuver that here. Just going to, if you guys could self-mute when you're not talking, because we're getting a lot of background noise, and just switch on when you want to talk, okay? That's the best way. The mute button's in the bottom left of the screen, okay? Yeah, thank you. So this webinar is sort of trying to find a way to ground this work a little more, because it's normally very esoteric. And that's why I called it Aligning to Your Life Purpose here. And so it's really taking you a little deeper, so you've all read the book, essentially. And just going to get the next slide up here. And essentially it's about using the work to go deeper into becoming aware of personal life lessons and navigating challenges, finding your strengths and manifesting your dreams, activating your potential, and finding your purpose, and to achieve life goals, because most human beings go around in the dark, really. It's like driving a car with no headlights and no sat nav, with a blindfold on and hoping life will happen. It doesn't turn out very well usually. It's usually very challenging. So the essence of this work is sort of switching all the lights on and getting your sat nav up and running and deciding where you actually want to go. And I remember when I first discovered this work in 1990, it was like someone really switched the lights on. Frank Kappa, who taught me this work in Arizona, he gave me the 1 hour reading and it explained everything. And I had definitely been in the car with the headlights off, blindfold on. And so ever since then, I wanted to teach this and share this and help people get on the path. And I see so many people, so many human beings struggling, and if only they just knew where they needed to go. So it would help so much. And so I spent past 25 years trying to empower people to create more fulfilling lives, really, and this has been the core of it, this work. And also I thought it'd be fun to meet some people who read the book, seeing I tend to hide away in England and don't see many people. So that's why I decided to run these webinars as well. So I think because you've all read the book, I don't say much about this, but essentially the birth name shows you what you should program into your spiritual sat nav, where you should go. It shows you how to navigate the challenges, to claim your gifts of life, because the biggest discovery I made was that our karma or our challenges contains our biggest gift, and everyone tends to run away from that. I ran away from feeling worthy to be loved, feeling empowered. I ran away from all this, and so my life didn't really happen. But once I understood this concept of turning into my karma and transmuting it and claiming the gifts of service, then my life actually started to happen. And so my strengths came online, my dreams started to happen, my purpose started to happen. So this is very much about decoding the contract and using the Star of David to find out, well, where am I actually meant to head? Okay, how do I let's get my pen running here. How do I transmute the karma through the use of these physical talents in the Star of David? And how do I take that gift out to the world? How do we take these physical talents and help them activate the physical goals here so that our interface, our operating system with the world starts to activate? How do we, once that's established, sorry about that, how do we then open the gateway to the spiritual karma, the true gift, the true mission, which is an opening to higher consciousness, and bringing that in, embodying it, and building it upon the foundation of the physical triangle here, through bringing online our spiritual talents, which then helps us achieve our spiritual karma. And as the talents get stronger, it helps us get to the spiritual goals. And so this secret map basically unleashes your entire life. And if you're conscious of all these aspects, of lessons with the karma and the talents you have to overcome it and the goals, and if you progressively work through them all, then the meaning of your life starts to manifest, the soul destiny. This manifests. And it's a question we all ask, well, what is the meaning of life? It's not 42 like in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, it's actually why our soul came. And this is the beauty of this work, and it never fails to amaze me just how profound it is every time I give a reading with people. So what we're doing here is that what we're essentially doing with this work, just trying to get the slide up here, is we're doing this. We are seeking to move from the path of suffering, which is following the human ego, the left brain, when you look at what it's done in the world. We're seeking to move away from that. It's a little human ego there in your body trying to work it all out, hoping it all, crossing its fingers, hoping it will work out, to moving to a state of expanded consciousness with this work. The vastness of spirit, the part of you not embodied. And the idea is that in accessing this vastness of spirit, that helps you move from the path of suffering to the path of bliss. That's what this work is about. So what is this path of bliss? Some abstract idea. And this is about aligning to your life purpose. And the way we do that is that we need to learn how to follow the urgings of our soul. Because in each moment, if you listen carefully, feel in your body what your soul's really wanting to do, what will happen is that you'll start to follow what we call a spiritual signature. In each moment, there's a heart opening. Each decision you need to make is a heart opening. And if you follow each little heart opening, the choice which opens your heart the most, you start to converge on the spiritual signature. There's one right action. Okay, you hear that in ancient teachings. And as you converge, as you get clearer emotionally and do this, life starts to change quite radically. Because when you're in the flow, when you're aligned, by following the heart in each moment, then what happens is that life comes to you. It's no longer a struggle to make it happen. As they say in North America, got to make it happen. And if I shout loud enough, it might happen, but often it doesn't, as you might have noticed. It's because you're down here. And if you flow with the heart here, which is the soul contract directs you on what this pathway is, then what happens is that life does open. Life does flow. And it's not a logical process. It's very much a right brain, feminine, surrendering into the feeling of the soul and going with that feeling. Because that feeling basically guides us in each moment. And we've lost contact with that, especially in the West. And the world's not in such good shape as a result. So this is about taking the soul contract work and gradually becoming conscious of all the patterns that are created in the human ego that keep us separate from this higher consciousness. The whole point of it, the ego, is to do this. I can find the right diagram down here. Our point of the human ego is to create a sense that we're one small little human being separated from Source, Great Spirit, God, whatever you want to call it. Trying to learn our way out of this third dimension, this earthly reality. And we think we have to figure it all out ourselves, but actually opening to higher consciousness through spiritual development, having the soul contract, knowing how to, which will help you navigate this way back home to Source, is the key. Unless we access the higher consciousness and go with our natural flow, we get stuck here. It's actually quite hard to make anything happen here, because the higher consciousness is actually the source of manifesting our life. So the spiritual awakening, say, of a light worker or service soul is really important, because it's going to supply a higher consciousness that will guide our little human being here to follow the path of bliss eventually. Any questions or comments on that so far? Just from anyone? Just start that as an opening. You switch on your mic and check there aren't too many of you. No?
You've done a very red circle there, Nicholas.
Yeah, well, that red circle, you mean this one here?
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's the interference zone. That's where all the astral beings and things hang out to stop us accessing higher consciousness. That's their job.
Mm.
So that we don't wake up, okay?
Yeah.
We don't get back to our sensual nature, which is unity and love, really.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that is about. These feed us all sorts of distractions and things which aren't true. So that we veer off the path a lot. Okay, so any other comments before I move on?
What would their interest in that be, these beings?
It's just part of the game. This is a game of separation from spirit. Basically, what happened was that we are sparks of the divine. We're little sparks of God. We forgot who we were. And Source, this is the 12th dimension, the 12th level of vibration. Source breathed out and gradually densified until from beings of light into supposedly solid bodies, physical bodies. And so the idea of this is to have the illusion of being separate from Source, that we're not connected to any of this. And there are many layers, many barriers preventing us getting back home. That's the purpose of the interference, to keep us in separation. And in the process of living our lives, the spark of the divine in each of us has a direct experience of creation. We are the creator creating in each moment of our lives. The creator's not something hanging out in a big white chair upstairs. We are the creator creating. And I was reading, they reckon there's about 40 billion Earth-like planets in this galaxy, okay, which support life. And they look pretty similar to us, actually, apparently. This is a evolutionary wise, this is a very common body form. So these sparks of the divine are creating out there on 40 billion different planets in this galaxy, each having a unique experience. And each planet has particular themes that it works on. And so our lives are the Creator creating, and every moment, every experience is the Creator learning very specific things which are defining the soul contract.
So in a way, this is the way it looks from the ego level. When you look at it from the source should be the outer circle, encompassing all of it.
Well, actually, it is all source ultimately, just
Yeah.
that it's densified, it takes on specific forms. It's actually one great soul. We're all part of the one great soul. And it's just an illusion that we're in separate bodies, if you want to go take it that way. Birgit.
Yeah.
It's one great soul knowing itself in all sorts of different ways, so it can expand its consciousness. And the soul contract is about how you specifically, as a spark of source of the divine, wish to know yourself, wish to experience life, wish to create. That's actually what's going on here. We want to get a little more esoteric on that front. And the more we actually go within the flow where our creative divine spark wants to go, the easier it will get, provided we peel. Where's my onion gone? Provided we peel the ego onion. I like red onions. Created by the soul contract. So this is our spark of the divine, and what happens here is that it created through the soul contract, through embodiment, this ego onion, and that's actually what creates all the stuff we have to deal with in life, really. And our job is to layer by layer peel this onion, dissolve our ego so we get back to the pure spark of the divine. And the more you peeled your ego, the more you worked on your emotional issues, okay, what happens then is that the clearer you are as a result of a lifetime of self-healing and personal development, the more you expand into the vastness of spirit. And the easier it is to follow that. So this is a gradual process. So working on ourselves is really important. And with the energies of the soul contract is guiding us. So we focus 80% of our effort on the 20% of things that really matter. Whereas most human beings are doing the other way around. They're putting a lot of energy into the things that don't matter. Because the ultimate purpose of life is to dissolve the ego, connect to the vastness of spirit, and express in each moment with great clarity the flow of our spirit, where it wants to go. Okay? Because when we do that, we embody higher consciousness and we rise in frequency, and then we affect those around us. But from our higher state of consciousness, that's actually our job. And if we're a therapist or a facilitator or whatever, that's even helps even more, because then you can work with even more people with that. Any questions on that? Or comments? Happy to have a dialogue. So pretty much letting this flow tonight wherever it wants to go. So anyone has any more questions?
Well, Nicholas, I can speak for the following of the flow. So for those of you, you've read the book and you're familiar with some aspects. One of the things that I came here to experience was doing everything the hard way. So everything had to be hard. There's a lot of unworthiness. If I didn't work really hard and carry the big boulder, life was just, it just wasn't worth it. and then through doing the work to clear the layers of the onion, you know, through the other things that Nicholas offers, the divine healing and light body work. It's like, if it's hard, it's not for me to do, because it's really easy and really simple, and it doesn't need to be that tough. And not to say I don't get stuck points. I'm human. I'm in a body, so you know I still have work to do. But it really does. It really does help. And understanding my soul contract and really paying attention to it as relationships come forward has really helped, because that awareness itself helps to clear also.
Thank you, Barbara.
It's really nice in the English language that hard is the same sound if you write it H-A-R-D or H-E-R-T, G-A-R-T. So that's really the switch, isn't it?
Yep. So, life doesn't have to be hard if we consciously approach it. It is for most people, especially those who don't work on themselves. It's hard, then you die and you come and do it again. Because the soul needs the intensity of the emotional cloak of emotions here to grow. And believe it or not, there's a massive cue to come down here for this experience, even though once we're in here, we're thinking, why did I say yes to this? So
I guess what I'm really keen on hearing is some of your talking about the soul chart, Nicholas, and you know, the meaning of the various signs.
yeah, why don't we do that? I think, has everyone generated their own chart previously?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. In that case, we'll do just that thing. So let me talk about what the signs mean. So we're ready for that. So, that's okay. So, I will give you a transmission of what they mean. Okay. Normally we often do a taster reading for someone, but I think you've already got your charts. So I'm going to just go into a bit more depth of what it means. So your body will get this. It'll come into your body rather than just reading the book into your mind. Well, the book does transmit quite strongly. So this is the one. This is Archangel Michael. And this is unity, power, and stability. They're two very powerful elements that when combined, you can't pull them apart. And so, in a positive aspect, this is the sword-like energy of Archangel Michael in a talent position. Very strong, lots of integrity, using power and service. If it is in a karmic position or in a goal position in the soul contract, you have to learn to come into this energy. So if it's in karmic position, it's someone who has felt very disempowered, especially around the masculine. Like their father will disempower them, or strong male figures will disempower them. And they're very unstable. And they will start off lacking integrity or very easily tempted by the misuse of power. If it is in goals, it's sort of halfway between the talent and the karma. They have to learn to come into integrity, learn to become stable, learn to use their male power properly, not misuse it. And there will be temptations to misuse it. So the soul contract energies actually sit in your energy field in the form of a substance called karmic matrix, which is like a grey cobweb energy that's at the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensional levels of your being. What it does is it transmits out to the matrix. And the movie's about as close as you get to what's going on. It transmits out to the matrix, and the matrix rearranges around whatever this stuff is sending out. And after a bit of experience, like you can feel something's about to happen, and sometimes you know this is not going to be good. It's because a goal, your matrix just transmitted something out there. And your job's basically to transmute it and work it through as gracefully as you can. So that's what we got there. Someone just arrived. Welcome.
So what if you have that at talents
In talents, it's about
or destiny?
this is about being in integrity, but using power with integrity.
Yeah.
And in soul destiny, it's someone who the whole point of the lifetime will be they have to work through all the other 6 aspects of their chart so that they can actually bring the proper use of power. So you can think of actually soul destiny is actually karmic initially in its nature.
Yeah, I found that I have that as spiritual talents and soul destiny, and I found that the talents were really coming on after I had committed to a certain set of ethics according to universal laws.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. So let's move on to the next one. So this is the 2. And this is quite a different energy. This is all about resiliency, emotional resiliency. And this is like a spring that moves up and down. So in a talent position, this is someone who has lots of emotional resiliency, is very supportive of others, okay, who can view a situation here from many different perspectives depending on what their spring is doing, where they are on the spring. So they all actually perceive the truth of a situation differently in different moments in time. And the lesson of this is what we call wisdom and foolishness. If they act from a place of not seeing the truth, where they're moving up and down the spring, they will make a foolish decision. If they wait for the spring to stabilize and they see the truth consistently for hours, days, or weeks, they will make a wise decision. And they'll know immediately if they make a foolish decision because they'll see the not so good outcome and then they'll learn wisdom as a result of that. If this is in a karmic position or a goal position, this number is all about lack of emotional resiliency, easily shocked, hypersensitive, impulsive, making impulsive, foolish decisions, or saying impulsive things. So the thing here with this energy is that in karma and goals, they need to hold back from making decisions from anything impulsive because they will be sorry. And when enough not so good things happen, they learn to be very careful. I have one of these. I've written off one car with one of these. I impulsively pulled out without looking and got hit by someone else. It's a very expensive impulse. And they tend to carry the emotional load of the family on them. And it squashes the spring down, so they lack emotional resiliency as a result of that. And the idea is to unload the family karmic stuff and then restore the spring to motion.
What is it as talent?
It's in talents, it's basically having emotional resiliency, having objectivity, okay, being wise, being supportive of others. This is my favorite one. This is a 3 because I have one of these. I sort of have a love-hate relationship with this thing. This is an internal canal. So let's take out a coding. This is a symbol of a teacher and a communicator. And within the 3, there's a library of knowledge. And this library of knowledge is blocked by a big plug of unworthiness if this isn't karma or goals. Now, unworthiness comes because the inner child got told off when it was a kid. And it feels, oh, I'm not worthy to be loved because dad shouted at me. And so the result of that is that hides away deep in the canals, invisible, shy, doesn't feel worthy of showing themselves to the world. Okay. Right. And it also creates a lot of financial distress, because if the inner child feels unworthy to be loved, they also feel unworthy to have money. So people with this always have money struggles. And it's a master number, so it takes a long time to overcome it. But the idea actually is to extract the plug through self-healing. I'll get my pen working. Extract that plug through self-healing. And then bring the ancient wisdom of the soul out through communication, through teaching, through writing, performing, out to the world. And the sharing of that wisdom, that knowledge, that leadership brings out a wealth of information. And then in return, the universe comes to you, and people are prepared to exchange for that information. I spent the first 15 years running this business, barely making a living, getting into a lot of debt because I had one of these, because my inner child did not feel worthy of being loved. And then I wrote the book, which was the sharing of the ancient wisdom of my soul. Well, I took over from Frank, because Frank Alpha tried to write a book about this. He founded this work, but he never finished it. So there's some sort of contract between our souls. He guided me a lot through the writing of the book, actually. He's passed over. He was literally chatting in my ear. And because I shared the ancient wisdom, then I got off the financial ropes the first time in 15 years, and actually things are a little more comfortable, not vastly comfortable, but a little more comfortable as a result. So it seems to take a while for the three to sort itself out. But it has allowed me to do a lot more teaching by having the book and reach a lot more people. And people were saying to me, Nicholas, you'll be lucky to sell 1,000 books if you get a publishing contract. And so the book sold about 10,000, which is not bad for a first-time book. They would consider 1,000 is pretty good for a first-time book. So it's helped 10,000 people. So I've shared my wisdom with 10,000 people, which I'm very happy about. And so this is what my 3 has created. So it's about finding the wisdom. And that's what it's like in karma or goals. And if it's in talents, this is someone who's a natural communicator and leader. They lead from the soul, deep from within the soul. They just fundamentally know what to do or say to people, because everyone's looking for a leader. No one trusts themselves. Well, not many people trust themselves. And so they will naturally lead, naturally teach. They'll be in command, basically. They have to work for themselves. They can't work for anyone else, because usually they know better anyway. So
I have it as physical qualities and soul and life purpose.
and how's it turning out for you?
I think I'm a little bit still with the plug-in.
Go get that plug out. Yeah. Chip away that plug.
Yes.
It takes a while, believe me, but it's worth it. It's worth it. I think it's a miracle actually to have some peace by being while still embodied, because most people never find any peace at any time in their life. But actually to be embodied and have some peace on a good day, that's a miracle. Okay, it can be done. So the 4 here is about learning to be worthy to receive, learning to be worthy of and trust in the flow of God's abundance. And in the form of love, money, ideas, knowledge. And if it's in karma and goals, it's someone who does not trust that the flow of God will come to them. And the idea is that they will be presented challenges in life where they have to trust it. Usually it's financial ones. They have to trust that it will come to pass. Like, I'm going to get on a plane and go to Denver on Monday and go and film Guy MTV, and then I'm going to go to Omega Hosting Institute in New York, upstate New York, and teach there. But I've got one of these in spiritual goals, but the whole way it's been like, I have to keep paying for certain things before the cash flow comes in and trust that it'll all work out. And it's been really interesting. But it is working out. And somehow everything gets paid for because God wants me in Denver, in Boulder, to film this next show. Okay. At one stage, I don't think it was going to be filmed because two parts of the guy, and one was saying you can come, and the other was saying you can't, and they both said it at the same time. So it was like, make up your mind. By the way, we've already bought the air ticket, so now what? so that's been going on. So I trust that it would happen, and it is. So we're going to do a show on taking this work out into the business world for spiritual entrepreneurs and sort of for corporates as well. So that'll be on in a few months' time. That'll be an interesting show. How that works, how you practically use it to create your businesses and stuff. So this isn't talents. This is someone, actually, speaking of karma, so you're presented with challenges where you have to take a risk and there's no guarantee it will succeed. And you know there's one right action here. And when you do that, the hand of God comes and supports you. But only once you take the risk. You have to totally have faith and trust. Step out on the empty chasm, and then the hand of God is there immediately, and it works out. Even though there's a nervous moment and you have wobbly knees. If you have this in talents, this is someone who naturally trusts, knows that if they duplicate one of these elements and share it out in the world with someone else, what will happen is that more will come. So it's only about sharing in a sustainable way in the world. They may overshare initially, share too much, you feel drained, then they back it off. So it's about sharing whatever you learned in the same way that it was shared with you. The book is shared with you in the same way it was shared with me from Frank 25 years ago, but in a more grounded language, in a much more expanded form. But the essence of it is what he taught me. So I feel there's a real responsibility to do that. So this is our 5. This is like a swan, okay, or a fetus, however you want to look at it. And this is all about something very etheric, abstract, real abstract being. And this is all about spirit coming out of abstraction into this reality, into form, expressing its pure truth. It's all about pure truth. Highly sensitive psychic energy. And if it's in a karmic or goal position, this is someone who is scared of expressing their truth due to past life persecution or for doing that. And they need to step forward and express their truth no matter what. That's what that's about. If it's in talents, this is someone who is, some people have very powerful voices, just even if they're speaking quietly, they're very powerful and resonant. These are people with 5s. It just penetrates everything. So in talents, this is someone who's a real pioneer. They'll say it as it is out in the world. And while everyone knows it's the truth, they don't like it usually, because most people's egos are trying to keep them asleep. They don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to wake up in the matrix. It's a bit too painful. Okay. The 6 here is the convertible knot. And this is about taking an idea which is resonant to the mind, very true, and manifesting it step by step into a physical form, into the outer worlds. This is great creativity. This is Taurus, very focused, plowing ahead. If it's in karma, they'll be here and they'll have a ton of ideas. And I'll try to do them all at once. they'll get pulled in all sorts of different directions. And so they won't get any of it done. So they'll feel very frustrated as a result. And so a lot of anger goes with this in karma goals, explosive anger. So the idea is to basically get down to one thing and focus on achieving the one thing you're trying to do. So the idea is that you have an idea, you're here and you're going to go here, you focus on it, and you take small manageable steps to success to get to the goal. Like this. Rather than one great leap forward, because the 6 will not take the great leap forward because it's not guaranteed success, but it will manage little steps. And karma goals, about 80% of the way through, what happens is that you tend to get other creative ideas very scattered. Okay. So happening there. You guys mute, I'm getting a bit of background noise. Thanks. But, yeah, what happens is that they get lots of other ideas come, which can easily scatter them. And therefore they don't achieve the goal, therefore they'll get frustrated. So it's about being very focused and making sure you achieve something. A 6 will be someone who goes around the house with one intention to get one thing, and then there are about 3 or 4 different things down the line, about half an hour later, having realized, oh, I forgot to do what I came to do originally because they got distracted, okay? And every time they achieve the goal, they break through a blockage between the ego and the soul's creativity. And the next thing they do will be easier. If it's in talents, if someone's extremely focused, either very creative and artistic, or very good with business, and they make things happen. And the power of the mind is so strong with this number. They can literally manifest things out of thin air, these people. They really want it.
What is it when any of these signs are in the life purpose?
This one here, if this is in Soul Destiny, have you got one of these in Soul Destiny?
No, I know a friend who has it.
It means
I
they've got something very specific to do, okay? And until they find it, it can be a bit frustrating. So there's a very narrow range of expression, Marilyn, with this one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is a 7. Who's got a 7 here? Anyone got 7s?
It took me a while to find out how I can be unmuted. I have the 6. I just want to go back to this as physical karma.
And how are you finding that, Birgit? How are you finding, do you get scattered? Do you have lots of creative ideas? Have too many things running?
Yeah, but in hindsight, it all leads up to something. So I've started various studies and left them when I got everything out of it that I wanted.
Yeah.
And it looks like starting a lot of things and not finishing them from one end. So that's how my parents saw it.
Yeah.
And when I look back at it now, it's step by step leading up to something.
Yeah. It's very important to finish things with a 6. So.
Yeah, but there's an inner finishing and an outer finishing.
Well, the inner finishing is feeling connected to the soul's creativity. So.
Yeah.
So the 7 here. Who's got a 7? Barbara.
I
I
have.
have a,
Yeah.
Okay, how many of you are hiding your true self from the world? Putting out, this is the true self, and how many of you guys are putting out the facade, putting on the act to be a certain way, so you're split down the middle?
Well, I
I
have
definitely that.
I have it in physical challenges, which would mean that it's something I need to work on. Is that right?
So what happens with the 7 essentially is there is a heartbreak because of some interaction with the parents. You guys can go on mute when you're not talking because we get a lot of background noise. Thanks. It's bottom left button on the screen. The idea is to heal the heartbreak, heal the inner child here, so it's no longer terrified of being rejected or being seen as bad. Drop the facade and reveal your true self to the world as you heal the heart. And the healing of the heart, basically, as it opens the heart, then draws to you lots of like-minded people. So what often happens with this energy is it's very easy to get isolated because the terror of being seen and being rejected again. So the idea is then to, with an open heart, healed heart, to draw lots of like-minded people and build a network, a connection of like-minded people and synergizing it into a greater whole.
Yeah, I've got that as physical goals. It's a 7-7.
Yeah. It's a great energy once you worked it through. It's very powerful at drawing great opportunities which are aligned to where you want to go. Okay. I've got one of these in my current name. And it's drawn me also to interesting business opportunities and business partners to work with. And everyone's sort of compatible. There's a whole network of people all linked together, complementary to each other. So, so that leads in cardinal goals to feeling, excuse me, feeling indecisive because you can't decide, am I going to show my true self or am I going to hide away? And that leads to indecision on everything. All right. In talents, it's the ability to magnetize a whole range of like-minded people together. The 8, this amoeba, is all about grounding. So this energy is all about forming, landing on Earth and bringing your emotional body online, forming clear boundaries with the world. And like an amoeba, if you don't have clear boundaries, you can get absorbed by the watery, messy emotions of everyone around you and learning to just visit over those boundaries. But knowing not to get over-involved in other people's stuff. How many people have got 8s and cardinal goals who get over-involved in other people's stuff and it gets really messy? Everyone clean? You can turn your microphone on if you want to talk to me.
I have got this as physical talents.
Are you good with people, Birgit?
You're reasonably well.
Yeah, so this is good at relating to people with some talents. You can connect to all sorts of people.
It's very useful when you do readings. So I've worked as an astrologer for quite some time.
Yeah, you see all sorts of turn out with this. And if it's in cardinal goals, it's someone who does not want to be on Earth, does not want to be embodied, would rather leave because they just don't want to deal with the heavy-duty emotions of Earth and don't understand. They don't understand emotions and they have to learn it's not about understanding, it's actually about feeling it. And they'll be in their head a lot, having mental body models of what feelings should be. But they won't know that. And when they feel a real emotion, it can be quite a shock. Okay, because it's overwhelming initially, usually. So this is the 9 here. This 9 is in Great Dragon. This is the most powerful number in the system. And if it's in cardinal goals, it's about someone who's going to feel very disempowered. And it comes from past life misuse of power. And so they'll often have a very physically, emotionally, and mentally abusive childhood. So disempower them. So they can then claim their power back. They can claim their dragon back eventually. That's what it's about. It's like one of those big black Harry Potter dragons, this one.
That's my spiritual karma, 9-9.
Yeah. Have you had a tough time, Birgit?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So, and the idea is to be a catalyst with this dragon, to push people's buttons, catalyze them to grow. I push people's buttons all the time when they don't talk to me for a while. So when someone's not talking to me, I know I press their buttons just by breathing. So I have to call them up and see if they'll come back online. It's just so strong. It's called being flamed. That's what we call it, because the power of the dragon's so enormous. Okay.
I have it in spiritual karma.
Yeah. How's that been going, Marilyn?
Well, I have it with the, it's an 18-9. I think, yes, I think that the disempowerment is certainly there with childhood as well.
Yeah.
So, yes, I'm on the road to reclaim my dragon.
Yeah. Because the point of the dragon is that having gone on the journey. See, most people feel like, God, I'm wasting my life. I've got all these things, challenges, and I'm not getting anywhere. It's taken so long. But the thing here is that it's that, oh, and I want to get to the destination. Can't I just have my power now? It's actually the visceral journey of each day of working through the issue and transmuting it is why your soul came.
Mm-hmm.
When you transmute enough of that issue, then you can start to give the gift of empowerment to others. Okay? So it's all about the journey, really. That's what life is about.
There's physical karma, spiritual karma, and physical goals.
Is that your chart, is it, Michael?
Yeah, I would guess so.
That's a tough chart. You've had a pretty tough life by the sounds of it.
Yeah, it's been some rough sledding. Trusting the innate truth and power that I would like to share, but being afraid to share it because of persecution or made fun of or something like that in some way.
Yeah. The core of this. Sorry, go on.
I'm thinking I read in the book that when the 9 shows up in more than one area, that makes for some difficult challenges.
So you got 6 of them by the sounds of it, haven't you?
Go ahead.
You've got 6 9s from what you said. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Yeah. You go on. You keep going. I just got to have that in my mind that you got 6 of them, so I understand what you're saying. Yeah. Keep saying what you're going to say, Michael, about how.
Well, then it keeps showing up. Spiritual goals, physical goals. No, wait, I'm sorry. Spiritual karma, physical talents, and physical goals. So there's something in the physical, it seems like I have to break through, let go of, ignore something so that I can move on to a higher level of work in my life. Would I be correct in saying that?
Yeah, well, the key for you, if you've got 9s in physical talents and physical goals, that 9 is the perfect energy to work through that 9 there. And you've got them down here as well. It's quite a tough one. The core thing to do, Michael, is you've got to access what we call the shadow destroyer archetype in Jungian terms. And it'll come from past lives where the soul has misused power with another personality expression. And to dig out that core shadow destroyer, the real destructive part, the dark side within you, within the ego, very deep in it, and transmute that dark side into positive power, layer by layer, to use in the world to create change. This is going to take you a while. How old are you now, Michael, if I can ask?
I'm 57.
Okay. It's going to take a while, but it's worth it, because once this comes online, the ability to catalyze change will be enormous. I mean, it's probably happening already, but to unleash these dragons means, you know, you become unstoppable, but it just takes time.
Yes, well, I feel there's so much that I have yet to accomplish and manifest, but the blockades are there. That's a daily struggle, I would guess, to say.
Yeah, it takes time. You need to do some quite strong healing work on yourself to get, or advanced shadow work actually. Is the key to this. You've got to do some advanced shadow work to get right to the crux of the destroyer.
Okay.
It won't go easily though, the way it works. You've got to really get in there.
All right. Thank you.
So, this is the 10, and this is the potential manifestation of spirit into the earth plane. This is the balanced male-female energies of God coming into the earth plane in pure service. So in talents, this is someone who's here to purely serve with their spiritual energy, has a lot of integrity, a very good connection to God, higher consciousness. If it's in karma or goals, this is somebody who feels they've been kicked out of heaven, must have done something bad, God doesn't want me back, I'm imperfect, and they judge themselves really severely. Okay, and the ego will project that out in the world and look at everyone else and judge them very severely. And effectively it's judging itself. And they will feel that connection to God consciousness and at the same time totally doubt it. And so it's a bit, it messes with their minds a lot. Doesn't it, Barbara? Really confusing, this one. Very confusing. And if it's in karma or goals, there'll be issues with the father because there'll be some sort of rejection, disconnection, abandonment, abuse by the masculine energy from masculine figures. And if it's not dealt with, it'll turn up in relationships as well. Okay, for both men and women. The idea is to come into power and bring the masculine, feminine aspects of God into balance. Okay.
Yeah, I've got that in spiritual talents and soul destiny.
So do you feel what I said was true, Bigot?
Yeah, so I mean, there were a few blockages, but it's like when the time is right, a layer gets ripped off, and it becomes clearer and clearer, the connection, and I'm at the stage where I feel constantly connected.
Yeah. Okay. You're making
You
good
were
progress.
one of the steps on the way, actually,
Yeah.
by doing some healing work in New Zealand.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to check something here. Yep. So this is the 11. And the 11 is all about structure. It's about taking lots of different ideas and then discerning what's resonant for you and building it to your own unique structure of truth and throwing away the stuff that doesn't resonate.
Quite interested in that Marilyn isn't around for this because she's got that.
Where's she gone?
I don't know.
No, she wandered up again. So basically here, this is all about building your own unique structure of truth. And if it's in karma, it means it's challenging to build a new structure of truth because people of these feel lost initially. It takes a while to learn new things as a result. But as it's, and there's a lot of malabsorption karma and goals of other people's emotional issues. They become like the emotional processing unit of the family. Okay, and that malabsorbed energy needs to be removed before they can build their own structure of truth of who they are. If it's in talents, this is someone who's very smart, very fast, can build structures of knowledge, build businesses, build physical things out in the world. They just love expanding and building. Architects and builders and sculptors have this sort of thing. Okay.
I have it in talents and spiritual talents.
And what have you been building, Marilyn?
I do a lot of, I guess, emotional work and healing like that, but I also work, I practice as an artist. So I guess I've been building that aspect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you do sculpture?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. And do you like that the most? Like building something?
I think it's a way to bring ideas into form. I think that's how I work with it. Try to
Yeah.
express some things that I would like to share.
Yeah. Okay.
And I find that the installations that she does are actually healing spaces.
Yeah.
And a healing energy that
Okay.
people experience when they are in that space.
Okay. So this is a 12, and this is about the absorption of knowledge and ideas, and then its expansion out in the world. It's learning to expand in a balanced way. And 12s tend to be running around, busy expanding all the time, and if that's in karma or goals, there are barriers to expansion. It doesn't expand evenly. So you need to learn to slow down, expand more evenly. Then there are less barriers. If it's in talents, this is someone who's naturally a sponge for knowledge. They'll take knowledge and take it to a higher form and make it better. Okay. So it's all about, yeah, and they'll see the best in everybody as well, people with this energy. So this 13 is called water and wisdom. This is the divine feminine aspect of God. This is pure, heart-based, unconditional love that accepts everything. And because it accepts everything, any separation programming are just unlocked. It's sort of the energy of where we are going in human consciousness. I like this one the most. This is sort of the energy of New Age, really. If it's in karma or goals, it's a disconnect from the divine feminine, usually in the form of the mother not being present or being inappropriate in their mothering or being abusive. And the learning there is to learn to heal that and reconnect to that divine feminine. If it's in talents, it's someone who's very good at looking after everyone else, very unconditionally loving. People naturally trust their energy and they'll just come to them. Everyone comes to the emotional water eventually. This is the 14. This is reflected being. This is someone who is a multidimensional mirror who reflects back to others parts of themselves they haven't seen, and therefore it creates very intense relationships. And so, whereas most people will spend maybe 10, 15 minutes talking about something, these guys will bounce back and forth with you for half an hour, and you'll get quite exhausted from it if you're not used to that intensity. But it's very good at breaking through blockages and being exposed to this. Okay. If it's in talents, it's very good if you are like a consultant or a facilitator, because you will show people so many different parts of themselves they're not aware of. And if it's in karma or goals, especially, it's about trying to find the balance for that intensity, taking things a bit for granted in terms of the spiritual abilities. Oops. This is a 15. This is about inner circular movement. And so this is about trying to find God within or God without. And it's a more gentle journey of spiritual growth. And if it's in karma or goals, this is someone who goes on and tries out many different jobs. Because they can never find something where they feel secure and not restless. So I'll try something on, it doesn't feel right in them, and I'll go and quit that and try something else. So they have to feel in their body, in their symbolic stomach, what is right. And that might take them to their 40s or 50s to find out actually what that is. Okay.
Yeah, I've got that in goals, spiritual
Yeah.
goals.
Yeah. Have you been pretty restless, Birgit?
Well, as I said before, I started various studying. So I started with theology, and then I noticed that church is not my thing. So it was no point in going on with it. But I learned some useful things for now, like Hebrew, for example. It comes in handy now.
Yeah, this is all about Hebrew.
Yeah, and then I studied sociology and found out about women's studies and the goddess stuff. And when this was done and nothing new was there, I left that too. So internally, it makes sense to leave it behind and move on to something else. Just from the outside, it looks like failure.
Yeah. So in talents, this is someone who's very centered. They know what they want to do. They get to it a lot quicker. Okay. So 16 here is about bringing high frequency spiritual energies down to the earth plane and making them accessible to people in plain English. So there's a translator from higher consciousness to a more down to earth way of expressing an idea, bridging it to wake up people who are less conscious. That's what that's about. And if it's in karma or goals, they don't want to do it. They resist it. They get very angry. They'll lie, get frustrated. If it's in talents, it's their natural proclivity is to take knowledge out there and make it really accessible. The 17 is like a abstract mouth. It's the mouth of God speaking in society, trying to reach people, all sorts of people. That's what it's about. So it's in talents. If it's in karma or goals, it's someone whose expression has been deeply suppressed in childhood, they've been ignored. No one believes what they say. So they have to talk their way through that, release all the oppression that they've had. The 18 here is what we call finality and solution, coming from many different past life experiences to a point to make a decision to follow the path of God or not follow the path of the ego. And they tend to procrastinate because they're scared, ooh, I'm going to make the wrong decision. I might not follow spirit. Okay, so they're here to make the hard decisions and carry them out. So in karma, they can't make the decisions, they can't finish things, they procrastinate. Get something about 80% of the way through, then they quit, they want someone else to do it. If it is in goals, if it's in talents, that this is someone who's a project manager, someone who's really good at making things happen. Okay, so that's about. 19 is about if you want to set up a spiritual center, this is a good number to have. So this is about taking spiritual energies and turning them into a physical form. So it's in the physical part of the chart. It's someone who wants to build a center to work out in the normal 3D physical world. If it's in the spiritual part of the chart, they want to build a spiritual center. If it's in karma, they can't bring this energy in. They don't know how to harness it properly. If it's in talents, they have the natural ability to create the space. So the 20 is about great movement. As in talents, they can move and flow in all sorts of different experiences in life and stay in balance. As in Carmel goals, they can't move so much. They would have had a strong religious or belief system imposed upon them. Like Catholicism, that turns up a lot for French and Spanish. Spanish and Italian clients, especially, they have a lot of these. It turns up. So they have to learn to be flexible and break out of a rigid belief system and flow. This is Carmel goals. Okay. We lost somebody. Okay, Michael. Oh, you're still there, Michael. So, okay. $21. Barbara, do you want to talk about this one? You're an expert on this one.
Well, I usually talk about it using the F word, so I won't use it.
Yeah, I don't think that's good, yeah.
So doing everything the friggin' hard way. And it's a talent of mine. So meaning really a lot of endurance. And, you know, really, I mean, for example, I'm a dog sled racer. I was training to run the 1,000-mile race up in Alaska. Talk about endurance, right? If it's not hard, and I had to do it, at least at the time. I didn't realize it, but later I realized I had to do it to prove that I was okay. That if I could do this, I could do anything, right? And metaphorically, I think about it in terms of, I was mentioning a little earlier, is if I wasn't carrying a really big boulder, and I mean, it literally kind of went into my shoulders, you know, one of those where you go to a body worker and they're always like, I can't even touch your shoulders, okay? There's so much there. So literally, if I wasn't carrying the boulder and the weight of the world and the weight of my friends and my family and my work and, oh, right, it wasn't worth it. So now it's about really setting down that boulder and learning how to walk around it. And that if it's not easy and it's not graceful, it's not for me, except that I had to get to a point where I understood that it's okay that you don't have to effort, that the world really gets to a point where I am worthy to have that flow, you know, kind of think of being that I can still be powerful and I can still have lots of endurance, but think of it in terms of a river, how a river can go up against a boulder, but it doesn't have to carry it, right? It goes around it. And if it really needs to break through it, it just does a little at a time, but it doesn't really bother. Is that what you were thinking, Nicholas?
Yep, that's what I was thinking. So
Where do you have it on your chart, Barbara?
It's in a talent, my spiritual talent. Oh, and then the other thing is, talk about spiritual talent. I wasn't getting the message from Source to awaken. And so I got a lot of messages and I didn't know what they were. I was like kind of knocked around. And I literally flew off a dog sled, hit my head and was dead for 7 minutes. So that really shook things up. Okay, so that's another example of like, you know, I didn't just have like a beautiful reading with Nicholas and be awakened, okay? I had to really do it in a challenging way.
but you're still alive, which is the main thing.
Came back better, so
And you're
all
a lot
good.
stronger, and you are walking around the boulders now, so you've figured it out.
Yeah, and even I want to put a little plug in earlier, you know, Nick, I don't know how many of you have your own businesses, but, you know, Nicholas does the work with business names too, right? And I have a very nice practice, okay, with no website to speak of. I mean, I have a little website, but I don't send people there. Yet, with the work and the clearing and getting all those layers of the onions off, And then having the foundation of the names of my business, it naturally attracts the energy to me. So
Yeah.
people are naturally attracted to me.
Yeah.
It really works.
You've got to become what you're going to share. So you've got to work through your karma to actually deliver it. You can't pretend, because people come to you as a therapist or teacher or whatever for the resonance of what you have worked through, what you've become. So your life experience is your gift. They don't know why they're coming. They're coming for that experience, not just what you've been trained for. Okay, thank you, Barbara. So this 21, 22, this 22 here is the blending of all the other energies. This is the blending of mind, body, and soul within the circle of God. This is completeness. This is accessing source, whatever's needed in the world, for whoever's got one of these is coming out in completeness. My spiritual talent 22/4 has been sharing tonight. I sort of came into this with a pretty much a blank open mind after the last one, because the last one had a lot of enthusiastic book readers. So I pretty much dropped what I was going to do and just went with the flow, which is what we've done tonight as well. So this is more a transmission. And so this is the energy of where it will deliver whatever anyone needs. No matter how complex, it will just come out in hopefully the right way. And it's in talents, so highly versatile. But if it's in karma or goals, this is someone who feels that there is no God, not abandoned by God, which is what we all have by being in the body, but there is no God, no source. I'm stuck in this little body and there's nowhere to go. Very stressful.
I have that with my ex-partner.
Do you want to tell us about that?
Well, he had it in spiritual goals in both his names, because he changed his name his name was changed when he was 5. And the main point that we sort of separated was that I had spiritual goals, but he felt that there was no God.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a strong one.
Yeah, definitely.
Only strong souls can take these on, because it's very, very tough, that one.
Mm.
There's other numbers, people. So, and so out of those 22 numbers, every experience in life is created, basically. So, and ultimately is to get you to oneness with yourself, reconnecting with the vastness of spirit. And there's numbers in the 7 aspects are about helping you, get to that point if you consciously work through it, which takes a lifetime. So this webinar was originally designed to talk about, where's it going now? Aligning to your life purpose, which is a workshop we're running up in the Amelia Holistic Institute in New York State. So, and that's actually a practical workshop for a lot less talking in this sense, but energetic transmission and exercises to do that very thing, to align to your life purpose, to energetically clean out whatever's in the way and to activate it. For those of you who can't make it there, we'll probably run an online version next year as well of this. Okay. But it turned out
really fun. I took it a couple years ago with Nicholas.
Yeah.
And it's more about the
Appreciate it.
active. Instead of him talking and being a transmission, it's more of an active, participating, and really feeling the energy of the numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a it's basically very experiential. Lots of transmission of energies, of the numbers, and we basically what we do is that we chant Hebrew, we play with the nutritional energies of the work, all sorts of stuff like that. Very strong. And it's surprisingly powerful, actually. I get surprised at how strong this thing is, but that's just what the Spirit brought through for alignment, and people feel a lot clearer as a result of doing it. This is why we have it, this one. So Spirit came up with that. So that'll be fun if you're interested.
Yeah, I can't make that, Nicholas, but I'd be keen to work on a chart with somebody into.
I can't hear you, Marilyn. We lost the sound.
I'd be keen to work. I can't make the workshop, but I would be keen to be working on somebody regarding names, because I think I must have at least 15 variations.
On your name.
Yes. So I mean, I'd be keen to do some online thing through your web page. You have various people who will work, won't you? Don't you?
Yeah, I missed that bit.
You have various people who will help draw up charts and analyze names. Like Barbara, do you do it?
Yeah, Barbara does it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. Nicholas does. He has other people that, Antigone, there's quite a few of us. There's maybe, I'm going to say more than 200, but
That's about right.
But there are more that are more active and, have their specialties. Yeah, Nicholas can help to point you in the right direction, or, I do it too, but whoever you resonate with, because that has to do with it too.
Yes, a very yeah.
Very personal.
Yeah. So, are there any final questions? I think this tonight was the transmission of the numbers. That seems to be the way it turned out.
Yes.
Yes, hi, Nicholas. Michael here.
Yeah.
Going back to the 16, I have that in spiritual talents, and it's an interesting number. The way through my meditation, Tai Chi, I get a whole different. Well, it's more than a feeling. It's the real deal, where I feel I'm being downloaded by higher information, especially when I'm dealing with other people, my clients in my business. But there's blocks to using it in my own life for my own growth. Is that part of that 16? Is that more of that shadow work of the 9?
We tend to transmit the positive aspect of our numbers in the way it affects other people, but we have to deal with the negative aspects within ourselves. That's the paradox of this work. So I think that's what you're experiencing, Michael.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You've got your own personal journey, inner journey of it, but you're still serving with a positive transmission to other people. So it seems to be the way it works. So, God having a joke, I think.
So I would need someone else to help me find positive transmission for myself. Is that the way you skirt that? You can't get to it on your own?
So a lot of things we can work on ourselves, but some core ego constructs, programs require someone else to hold space, Michael. It can be too much, because sometimes it's actually difficult to hold space and work on yourself and work on yourself at the same time for core issues.
Yes.
You're probably familiar with that. So we use a thing called divine healing which uses the higher self to dismantle the ego onion. It's very powerful. We use it in conjunction with the soul contract work, which identifies the core programming that's going on. It's designed to peel the onion and get you back to source, basically.
All right, thank you.
I think you need a very powerful tool given the 6 9s you've got, because that's quite it's one of the strongest patterns you can have. Okay.
If
Unless
I
you,
met you, Michael, if I met you and saw your chart, I'd say you got to go talk to Nicholas. Seriously. Seriously, because it's his specialty. It's, of course, empowering us, right?
Yeah.
You know,
we have a we have a special thing called the empowerment protocol. That's what Barbara's referring to, for breaking the back of the Shadow Destroyer 9s, Michael. There's a way to do it. I've got myself. I found a way. It took me a long time, but there is a way you can do it.
Okay. We'll be in touch then.
Yeah, and you can do it sooner. Right? It's easier. You can break through them a lot quicker than you think. Even that seems to take forever. There is a way.
Okay.
It's strong, but it works. So
All right. Well, there's hope.
there's hope. Yeah.
All right.
Any
I
other?
don't believe that our soul would give us a chart that can't be worked through.
Well, some people get them. I had someone with 8 9s, whereas it was total disempowerment and very challenging, almost defeated them. So yeah, 6 is strong, but I've seen one with 8. Spirit sometimes misjudges how strong these things are.
But then this must make sense from the soul point of view.
It does, but sometimes souls misjudge this. That's what I reckon. I reckon we overdo it by about 20% sometimes, just stacking a bit too much karma, thinking from upstairs we can do it. When you get down here, you think, oh my God, what have I done? And you got to work through it. So,
How do we contact you, Nicholas? By email or?
yeah, by email. I'll send out a link for the video, and I will. Well, you got the email from the Zoom. It's Nicholas Direct 3 at Centre for Conscious Ascension. You can contact me that way. That's the simplest way, or on Facebook messaging. That's the other way. There's a Facebook group we set up, and you can actually. I'll post the videos and stuff of this on there and any other resources. So email is usually the easiest. Okay, any further questions, anybody, or comments? Thank you for participating. Sorry about the technical glitches.
Well, thank you very much for offering us this, Nicholas. It's very generous for you to have shared this with us. So I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yes, I agree, Nicholas. Thank you. This is great. Add to what the book also offers. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, and I got a better idea of how. I mean, we looked at individual numbers, but they always turn up in pairs, don't they?
They do, yeah.
Yeah, and so I got an inkling now what the combinations are like.
I mean, if you want to go deeper into it, I mean, we do a 5-day training, which is online and live, which you can only put so much in a book, and the book is based on the training manual, but the actual training is like what I've just done here. It's transmission of what it means, and so it activates in you. We activate it in you for 3 days, all the numbers, and then we spend the last 2 days teaching you how to hold space and deliver this powerful truth to people. So that's the other way to go deeper. And some people just want to do the training so they want to go deeper into the numbers, even if they don't become a practitioner. So that's the other way to get into it. And we got one on the 5th to the 9th of November. So if you're interested in that, that's the other way of getting more into it. Okay.
Is that on your webpage?
Yeah, I'm going to put this all on the Facebook group. I'll put all these links and stuff on there. Goes well with astrology, Birgit. Very well, because astrology comes out of the system. So,
Yeah, most definitely.
yeah.
I mean, so when I look at how the 10 works for me with 1, so the steps I'm doing are very platonic.
Yeah.
It's like a forceful ripping.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Pluto is quite dominant in my birth chart.
Yeah. All righty. Any final comments from anyone? Just thank you for coming. It's been good.
Thank you.
All right, blessings all. Good day.
Okay.
Thank you, Nicholas.
Thank you. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank
I'm just
Bye
gonna
bye.
Bye-bye.
figure out how to.
Thank you, Nicholas. I couldn't unmute myself. Thank
Okay.
you very much.
All right. Thanks, Dorota. Bye.
Bye.